Once upon a time, in a vibrant, bustling neighborhood, there lived a kid inventor named Max. Max was no ordinary kid, with wild, fluffy hair that resembled a tangle of colorful wires, and an unstoppable curiosity for anything science-related. Their adventures in invention often led to the most zany and hilarious outcomes. Today was no exception. Max had just unveiled their latest creation, the ultimate homework disappearing machine. Picture this contraption, if you will. It looked like a zany robot that got into a tussle with a toaster and a vacuum cleaner. Max, with a mischievous grin on their face, knew that this invention was going to change the world of homework forever. After all, who needed to do boring assignments when you could just make them disappear? As Max proudly stood beside their creation, dressed in an oversized lab coat that flopped as they moved, and mismatched socks that made everyone giggle, it was clear they were ready for some chaos. Max adjusted their oversized goggles, which were sliding down their nose, determined not to let anything distract them from the glory of their invention. Enter Max's trusty sidekick, a playful dog named Sparky, who was equally quirky and loved donning a pair of goggles that made them look absolutely adorable. Little did they know that adventure awaited just around the corner. As Max prepared to demonstrate the ultimate homework disappearing machine, Sparky's big, fluffy tail wagged excitedly. With a playful bark, Sparky scurried around the machine, eyes glimmering with excitement. Then, in a moment of sheer excitement, Sparky hopped up and pressed the "uh-oh" button with their paw. In a flash, the machine whirred to life. Whirs and buzzes filled the room, and Max couldn't hold back a laugh. Homework papers began to fly into the machine with a whoosh, swirling in a whirlwind of colors. Max clapped their hands in joy, imagining all the wonderful things that would happen next. This was going to be the best demonstration ever. Suddenly, with a loud pop, the first paper was sucked in, and to everyone's surprise, it transformed into a massive bubble. It floated majestically towards the ceiling, shimmering like a rainbow and bursting into a cascade of colorful confetti, spreading joyous laughter throughout the room. Max jumped up and down, cheering, "Look! It's working!" But that was just the beginning. Next, another sheet of homework zipped into the machine, and as it vanished, popcorn exploded out in a fluffy, buttery shower. Max couldn't believe their eyes, popcorn was flying everywhere. Sparky caught a few pieces midair, munching them down with glee. Laughter filled the air as popcorn rained down like edible snowflakes, turning the inventor's workshop into a scene of pure hilarity. Just when everyone thought it couldn't get any crazier, the machine emitted a whimsical whirring sound followed by a triumphant ding. Suddenly, flying cupcakes burst out, twirling in the air, decorated with sprinkles that danced in the light. It was a cupcake spectacle. Max and Sparky were in a fit of giggles as they tried to catch the delightful treats floating all around them. As the room filled with laughter and deliciousness, it was hard to imagine what could possibly go wrong. However, in the midst of this colorful chaos, the parents in the background were wide-eyed, their mouths agape. They had just stepped into the room and were thoroughly shocked at the scene unfolding before them. The parents exchanged glances of disbelief, unsure of whether to laugh or pull the plug on the antics. One dad even clutched his forehead, mumbling something about the dangers of too much sugar. But wait! There was more. As the hapless teacher popped up from the screen of a nearby computer, waving a ruler furiously, their voice echoed through the room. "Max! What on earth have you done now?" The teacher looked exasperated, attempting to regain control over the homework disappearing madness. In the corner of the room, the chalkboard displayed a bold message that read, "Science gone wrong." In big, colorful letters, with a doodle of the machine drawn beside it, looking rather mischievous. The hilarity of the situation only intensified as the teacher tried to maintain some semblance of order amid the chaos, but how could anyone stay serious in such a joyful spectacle? Max, with their infectious enthusiasm, shouted out, "Don't worry, Miss Thompson. It's all in the name of science." Sparky, ever the perfect accomplice, barked in agreement, clearly having the time of their life. As the machine continued to swirl, more homework was sucked in, and with each paper that vanished, something new and fantastical erupted, filling the room with creative wonders. The air was alive with enchantment and laughter, illuminating the entire workshop with joy. Max's eyes sparkled with ideas of what they could invent next. Perhaps a machine that would turn chores into fun games? Or one that would create the ultimate snack for homework sessions? As the chaos continued, one thing was certain: There was never a dull moment when Max was around, and the bounds of imagination had no limits. In the end, as the last of the cupcakes floated down and Sparky shared a popcorn with Max, everyone burst into a fit of laughter, realizing that even though this experiment might not have gone as planned, it certainly turned into the most delightful surprise. The ultimate homework disappearing machine was not just a new invention, it was a ticket to fun, imagination, and unforgettable memories. Max and Sparky, surrounded by laughter, sticky fingers, and colorful chaos, knew they had created something special, something that would be remembered and treasured long after the cupcakes and popcorn were gone.